What's up, everybody? It's Galmadex, and welcome back to another ranked draft of Core Set 2020. I believe this will be the third on the channel. Let's see if we can open some good cards and not run up against more Safaris, because that card keeps killing me very, very aggressively. So this is a great rare Voracious Hydra. 2 green and X for a XX with Trample. And when it enters the battlefield, you can either double the number of +1/+1 counters on it, or have it fight a creature you don't control. So for 6 mana, you get a 4/5 that fights something when it enters the battlefield, or you get an 8/9. So really, really good card. It's also flexible. You can play it earlier in the game if you have to, and later in the game if you top deck it, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger the later you get it. So very, very nice bomb rare right now. There are some other pretty good cards in here, but nothing that I would first take over the Hydra, so that's what it's going to be here. There is a Captivating Gyre. This returns 3 creatures to their owner's hands, so you can really set your opponent back on tempo and get in for a nice swing with presumably no blockers out. This is a pretty strong card. And we have just decent commons outside of that. Silverback Shaman's good because he replaces himself when he dies, along with being a decently sized threat. Keldon Raider's fine. It's an okay sized creature that also lets you discard a useless card, grab something else. Goblin Smuggler has some cool combos. And then, yeah, other than that, pretty basic pack here. We're going to go ahead and take Voracious Hydra. We have another rare in this pack. We have Embodiment of Agonies. 2 black and 1 for a 0/0 flying death touch, but it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each different mana cost among non-land cards in your graveyard. This is a pretty weird card. If you play a fast enough deck or a deck with enough cheap cards where you can trade off a creature early, or just play like a 1 mana instant early, like a Shock or an Opt or something, then this is basically a 3 mana 1/1 flying death touch. I don't see this ever being massively bigger than this, because since it's a 3 mana card, you presumably want to play it relatively early, just as a 1/1 or 2/1 or 2/2 flying death touch. But it could be a pretty strong top deck later in the game as well. That's when it could actually be pretty beefy, maybe 4/4, 5/5. Definitely a pretty weird card. Not sure how good it's going to be. It's probably a little slow and dependent on what you draw. So I don't know for certain how I feel about that. There's also a Howling Giant here. I might just take this because I think it's like, it goes best with our first pick. It's definitely the simplest pick. It's just another big giant bomb card. It's a 7 mana 5/5 reach that comes with 2 2/2 wolves, so a lot of power for that mana cost. It is another pretty high mana cost card though, and we do already have one card that we could basically treat as like a 6 or 7 mana card right here. So that would be the biggest argument against it, is it's another high mana cost card. There's a Chandra's Outrage here, which is really nice. That is definitely a viable pick. Frostlinks is really good as well. It's probably a little bit early to take a Frostlinks, but that card is very, very strong. And yeah, I think those are definitely the big cards in this pack. There's Embodiment of Agonies, Howling Giants, Chandra's Outrage, and Frostlinks. This card's so weird. I'm genuinely not sure if that's that good. I'm going to go ahead and try it out. It is a rare. You don't get that many opportunities to try those kinds of cards out. I'll go ahead and just try it and see how it ends up doing. So here we have Vengeful Warchief is fine. It's a 5 mana 4/4 with a little bit of upside. It will definitely get at least a little bit bigger most of the time. Gruesome Scourger is good. Most decks in most limited formats are gonna be pretty much creature based with some removal spells to back it up, and in any deck with a decent amount of creatures, like 15 plus, this card's fine. It can ping in for some extra damage in there. And there's like a Centaur Courser, which is definitely good on the curve. It's just straight up a 3 mana 3/3, which is actually pretty good for a common. Usually at common you get stuff like 3 mana 3/2s like the Barony Vampire here. Centaur Courser is just straight up better than that Barony Vampire. Unless we end up drafting cards that specifically care about vampires. Yeah, and then we've just got some random stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and roll with... I think I like Gruesome Scourger a little bit better than Vengeful Warchief, but because we're in like the green-black as our color combination starting off here, we might be more of like a large creatures style deck than a lot of creatures style of deck. But I think either way, we're going to be running plenty creatures. So Gruesome Scourger is probably fine. Yeah, probably just going to take one of these dorks. I'll go ahead and take the Gruesome Scourger. Alright, here we have a Gift of Paradise, a card that I like a bunch. Super happy to see that it's a common in this set, so your weird green X decks, just splashing like a random bomb, are a lot more playable. Just because you can pretty reliably get some Gift of Paradises. So yeah, it's definitely a card I like a lot, works really well with the Hydra, ramps us up into that, ramps us into our Scourger. Might just take Gift of Paradise here. There's also Blade Brand. We don't currently have any creatures that really work that well with Blade Brand. Blade Brand is great with really cheap creatures, and just like creatures that return themselves, or creatures that you'll be attacking with very early in the game and often. So stuff like Sanitarium Skeletons, or like the 2-mana 2/2 Vigilance guy in green. We don't really have anything like that right now. We just have gigantic dudes, or dudes that already have Death Touch, so... Blade Brand, a little early to take that. I think I might just take Gift of Paradise here. There's also just good cards in other colors. There's Frostlinks, which I've said before is quite a good card. There's Brineborn Cutthroat, which I've been taking pretty highly. And it hasn't actually done a lot, but it still looks so cool at face value, so I still like the card, even though it actually has not done that much for me. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Gift of Paradise here. That way, whatever kind of cool bombs we get, we can definitely splash into them if we pick up just like one more Gift of Paradise. Here I'm going to take Rabid Bite. Removal's a little bit hard to come by in green. We are green-black, so presumably we'll end with a couple murders, hopefully. Murder is a common removal spell in black. 2 black and 1, destroy any creature. We definitely want to pick those up, but just in case, we'll go ahead and pick up Rabid Bites. We should definitely have plenty of viable targets to Rabid Bite. We have Voracious Hydra's going to have more than enough power to kill most things, and we already have a Death Touch creature that can literally kill anything with a Rabid Bite, so seems like a fine pickup. Alright, we've got a Pattern Marcher. Pattern Marcher's pretty good if you just have a couple creatures that you have, 2 or 3 copies of. Obviously, by itself, if you don't have any creatures that have more than 1 copy, it's obviously not very good. It's just a 4-mana 3/3. But I think the upside is pretty high. Just being able to draw a relevant creature alongside your 4-mana 3/3 is pretty powerful. So right now we don't have any duplicates, but if we draft Pattern Marcher, we can definitely try to pick duplicates up pretty highly. There's also just Vorse Claw here, if I just want a random giant dork to ramp into with stuff like Gift of Paradise. But when you have access to a card like Gift of Paradise, I think we're less likely to need something like Vorse Claw, since we could hopefully ramp into something pretty big in almost any color if we just get like 1 or 2 more copies of Gift. So I'm going to take Pattern Marcher here. And here... Man, we might be getting cut. That's a pretty late Frostlinks. Blue might be pretty open. I might just take Frostlinks here. Undead Servant isn't all that great, obviously, unless you can get a bunch of copies. I guess Pattern Marcher into Undead Servant would be a pretty good setup of picks here, because those do combo relatively well together. If we do end up with enough Undead Servants, we'll obviously have a bunch of them to hopefully Pattern March into. We could also just straight up take a Jungle Hollow. I don't think that's a bad pick at all. That's actually probably the safest pick. Probably a pretty nice pick as well. So there's multiple options. I think Frostlinks, Undead Servant, or Jungle Hollow are probably the picks here. I'm actually just going to go with Jungle Hollow and be that guy. I'm going to be super boring with that pick. Here we have Barony Vampire is garbage. We could take a Vorst Claw. The reason I say Barony Vampire is garbage is because the color combination that we're in is green-black. We're not going to be... Presumably, we're not going to be really missing a lot of 3-drops. Because we could just pick up, like, Centaur courses, which are strictly better in green. There are some color combinations where Barony Vampire is just bad instead of garbage, but I think in green-black it's just garbage, because we just have better 3-drops in green. So Vorst Claw's probably the pick here. Again, don't have a whole lot to do with Blade Brand. And the hammer is hilarious. I mean, it's the mallet. It's straight up just really funny. But I think with like a Rabid Bite and Gift of Paradise, we just want a big dork here. Colossal Hammer is kind of like a big dork. It just turns any of our dudes into a big dork, so that's fine. I think I'm going to go with Blight Beetle here. Get our first early game creature, and this could randomly just like destroy a green player. I mean, it's literally just a 1 mana, or just a 2 mana 1/1 if you're not against a deck that plays counters, so that seems pretty bad, but it can just like completely shut off Voracious Hydra and stuff like that. Alright, Blight Beetle might actually be pretty bad in best of 1 formats, like Ranked Draft, where you only have 1 game against each opponent. So I guess Diamond Knight is the pick. I'm not even that big of a fan of Diamond Knight, though. But I guess we take it over Blight Beetle. Here's a Sanitarium Skeleton. We're not really missing anything else in that pack, so we'll take that for now. This might not be a card that we end up running. Sanitarium Skeleton is definitely the kind of card you only run if you have stuff that goes well with it. Right now, we would just be running it as a random 1-drop. Nothing particularly combos with it right now. These are all pretty mediocre. They're all whatever. I guess I'll take a Feral Invocation for now. Wolfkin Bond. Epicure. Prismite. And last pick, Diviner's Lockbox. Alright. And we got a good rare in pack 2, Wake Root Elemental. 6 mana for a 5/5 elemental. We had this in our last deck. The ability is very green heavy on the requirement, but if you get to the point where you get to start activating that, it's really hard to lose. So I'm going to go ahead and take Wake Root Elemental here. Cards that we like, that we'd like to wheel, would be stuff like Soul Salvage would be pretty good in this deck. Leafkin Druid. Literally any of the green or black cards in here would be nice, but there are only 4 of them. I guess Season of Growth isn't particularly great. We only have... I guess we do have 2 cards that target our creatures right now, so if we got that early enough, we could try to draft around it. But for now, it's definitely Wake Root Elemental. And... Deck's not fantastic. Just a bunch of random small creatures and a Feral Abomination. I think I'm already getting like a decent amount of late game creatures. I don't want to eat up all my late game slots this early, so maybe just take a Cryptic Caves. This basically just helps you not get mana flooded. It's mana when you need it, and then obviously if you have 5 or more lands, once you're at that point, you probably don't need it anymore, then you can just turn it into another card, just sack it and draw a card. That could be nice. We could also just take one of these early creatures just to start filling that spot up, because we definitely want to have some. We currently have like nothing down here. Guess we'd probably take Greenwood Sentinel first here, because we've got nothing at 2 mana. We do have 2 3-mana creatures at the very least. Or just Blood Burglar has lifelink, I guess. Probably going to wheel one of these random 2-drops. I don't think we'll wheel the Caves. I'm just going to take the Caves and take whatever 2-drop wheels so that I don't have to decide. Alright. Brightwood Tracker is a card that's pretty nice to have a copy or 2 of. It's just a big booty elf that can just block stuff. It's got 4 toughness. And then in the late game, it gives you something to do with your mana. For 6 mana, tap it, look at the top 4 cards of your library, pick a creature from among them, and put it into your hand. So this just makes sure if you get into a top deck where you're always drawing cards, you're always drawing relevant cards, you're drawing creatures. So that's nice. I'm not sure this is really going to be the kind of deck for Overcome. We, right now, just have a lot of big creatures. Later in the game, Overcome is a lot better if you go wide, if you have a lot of creatures out. I don't know how likely that is right now. Audacious Thief is great if you can get it going. We don't have a lot of backup for it right now. We just have a Rabid Bite in terms of removal. But this card has so much potential that might just be the pick. There's like a Thicket Crasher just for a Trample Dude, and a Centaur Courser is like the most decent 3-drop right now. Well, I mean, Audacious Thief is, but I just mean like for power and toughness levels, just 3 mana, 3/3, bam, just fine stats for the mana cost. I think Overcome is like the strongest card in here, but I just don't think we have the support for it. We don't have much of a curve right now. We don't have the early game creatures. Brightwood Tracker probably goes the most well with our deck, because this can help us search for our large bomb creatures when we hit late game. Audacious Thief has so much potential, but I actually think Brightwood Tracker is just the best card for this specific deck right now. So we will go with that. Blood-Soaked Altar is another card I'm not a huge fan of unless you have a lot of enablers for it. Sanitarium Skeleton definitely makes it better. Active Treason makes it better, but we're not red, so... I think just by itself, though, you have to spend so much to get going with that card. You have to play that, as well as discard an additional card and sack a creature, and then you get your first demon. After that, it's probably worth it, but that first demon is just such a hefty cost to get it going. I think I'm just going to take the 2 mana 2, I definitely need to get some early game creatures in here. Alright. Here's another card that's just strictly better than that Barony Vampire, Loaming Shaman. It's just the vampire with a little bit of an ability. We get to shuffle cards from a graveyard back into the library. We could take a Boneclad Necromancer. Is 5 power for 5 mana, which is nice. It's 5 mana for a 3/3 and a 2/2 if you exile a creature from a grave. Another Gift of Paradise is nice. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take Gift of Paradise. We aren't actually, like, splashing in a third color for a bomb right now, but now it's just, like, any rare we open in the third pack, we definitely can play. Really want to. I'm going to take another Greenwood Sentinel out of this pack. There is a Soul Salvage. I'm starting to get a decent chunk of 3-drops, though. I guess Soul Salvage, you kind of just treat it as a really late game card, though. Yeah, this deck could use like 1 copy of Soul Salvage, so hopefully I can just pick one of those up really late. I think we do need to just make sure we've got a solid amount of early game creatures here, though. Bone Splinters is not very good in this deck. We've got 1 card that works pretty well with it. We have nothing else that makes creature tokens, or is just like multiple creatures for the price of 1. So Bone Splinters forcing us to sacrifice a creature most of the time is actually going to be a pretty hefty cost. We will actually have to sacrifice like a 3/3 or a 2/2 Vigilance or something that we actually like. But at the same time, the only removal we have right now is a Rabid Bite and a Voracious Hydra. We're going to need some removal. The other option is like a 5 mana 3/5 Reach, which seems fine. I don't know. I'm just really hoping to see some murders at any point. I'm just going to take the Spider. Here we'll just take the Fenlurker. It's kind of just the only card in our colors. And the mana cost isn't too difficult, especially if we have double Gift of Paradise. Season of Growth. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, draw a card. And whenever you play a creature Skyrun, that's just whatever, but draw a card. We've got 1... We've got literally one card that targets our creatures right now. I guess we have Feral Invocation and Wolfkin Bond we could put in there. But even that's... I don't... Oh, no. I don't think this is a Season of Growth deck. And I forgot what the other card in that pack was, but I was going to take whatever the other thing was. It wasn't something like super exciting that I'm really missing out on there, so it's not like the worst mixed click in the universe. Well, this Overcome went insanely late, so I guess we'll pick that up anyway. Is this the pack that had 2-drops? And I was like, I'll just wheel a 2-drop out of this. And then we wheeled Overcome? I don't understand. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. We did pick up 3 2-drops. We're okay. We have some early game creatures now. They are here. Alright, final pack. Come on, sweet rare. That is a land. Well, we can still get past a sweet rare. Tomebound Lynch is interesting. I don't think that's worth splashing in our deck. Temple of Triumph, we're just not even going to play that. It's completely off color. If this were like green in another color or black in another color, we'd play it, but it's 2 colors we're not even using. We could just grab another Cryptic Caves, or we could grab an Audacious Thief now. Ferocious Pup. Now that we have Overcome, I think Ferocious Pup best. Audacious Thief just has so much potential for value, but we really don't have a lot of backup to try and make sure it gets in. I'll just take Ferocious Pup. There's Audacious Thieves everywhere. Alright, Thrashing Brantodon, Audacious Thief, Blood Burglar. We could also just splash in a Boreal Elemental at this point. Seems fine. I mean, we got just big, bomby dudes in the late game, though. I don't think we need a Boreal Elemental. I'll actually just take an Audacious Thief at this point. We'll get that in there. We have 3 to a creature and gain 3 life. Or 3 to a target and gain 3 life. It looks like we're not going to see a single copy of Murder, which kind of sucks. That's basically just the best black common. 2 black and 1, destroy any target creature. Ironroot Warlord is one hell of a card. That might be worth splashing. The thing is, like, I have the Gift of Paradises, and then I just haven't had anything that's, like, so good I definitely want to splash it. Like, I keep ending up just being like, oh, I should pick up the removal in my colors and stuff like that. That might just keep happening here. Yeah. Just take Agonizing Siphon, fill up that 4-mana spot. Alright, I like Barkhide Troll a lot here, but I think I have to just take a duplicate to make sure I get value out of Pattern Marcher. So take another Fenlurker or another Gruesome Scourger. Then I have more things that work with Pattern Marcher, or just another Greenwood Sentinel. Gonna pick up another Fenlurker, I guess. There's a Blight Beetle and a Netcaster Spider. That is it. That's gonna be a pretty easy Netcaster Spider. Another Sanitarium Skeleton, I guess. I'm not one of those people that likes to run like a copy of Plummet in 1-game matches, but I know that there are people who do, because I always get hit by Plummet when I'm playing Flyers. Could take another Netcaster Spider or a Blade Brand. I do have double Sanitarium Skeleton now, so like now I've got some early stuff to Blade Brand. Also Fenlurker. Yeah, I've got some little Blade Brandy creatures at this point, but I also don't have a lot of protection in the air. I'll take Blade Brand. It's also another early game card that I can cast early on to make sure Embodiment of Agonies can at least be a 1/1. I could even just cast this on like my opponent's creature if I have to and just cantrip draw a card. We'll go ahead and take a plummet. You know, maybe I should main deck a plummet just so I know I'm not gonna die to a Sephara again. This 7 life like an angel thing that I always die to. Could even main deck 2 plummets, but that's going a little off the rails there. 3 plummets could do it. I'm definitely seeing that we could have done the Undead Servant plan. Those are going so late here. I think I'll take a Diamond Knight, though. It's got the same name as a creature I currently have. So it triggers Pattern Marcher. Alright. Let's start cutting some cards. We get to cut 5 cards out of this deck. Could just get rid of the double Sanitarium Skeleton right now, and then we're just Blade Branding on double Fen Lurker, double Sentinel, and like our 3 drops. Yeah. So we could take the Scalymans out. We don't actually really need the Gift of Paradises anymore, either. And now we just take one more random card out of this deck. This deck doesn't look that great. Didn't really pan out super hot. But we've got some bombs, we've got some removal. Could just win out of nowhere, like who knows? Guess I'll take out a Feral Abomination, just to have Vor's Claw as my high mana cost common dork. Yeah, I think we'll run this. Let's go ahead and turn our sleeves onto something cool. And our basic lands. These games going. We got for basics. Ooh. Let's Dominaria, though. We gotta do M20, come on. That's pretty. Alright. 7 of these. 8 of my balls. You'll know we're all about the balls here. Here we go. I guess they're acorns. They're just like giant glowing acorns. But I always just call it the glowing ball forest. That's what it looks like. Oh no, I just took out a bunch of swamps by accident. Fantastic. Next level plays. Bam. Alright, deck is done. Let's play some Golgari. Maybe we can just cheat out some games with a Voracious Hydra. That was kind of our plan last video. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Try it out. See if I can get up into gold today. I don't know how possible that is. I don't know what rank of silver I'm at. Alright, we're going to keep this hand. I've got the Greenwood Sentinel. I also have the mana to be able to cast Voracious Hydra at whatever point. Like, the absolute worst case scenario, I can play it as a 3 mana 2/3. I obviously do not want to do that. But, it is possible. It's something I can do with what I have in hand right now. There's a Duress for nothing. That's pretty sweet. I just got to draw a card for free there, basically. Well, I just got my opponent to discard a card for free. Leafkin Druid from our opponents. We're going to start out with a Greenwood Sentinel. He's not really going to get in there, because that Leafkin Druid is a 0/3, which is quite impressive. For a mana dork. Blood Burglar 2/2. Go ahead and send in the Sentinel. They're just gonna take it. They don't want me to Rabid Bite their guy, I guess. Or if I had any kind of pump spells they didn't know about. I guess they didn't know about Rabid Bite. Apparently I drew that after the Duress. Oh yeah, of course I did, because they would have Duressed it if I had it at that time. So opponent just playing around like Giant Growth and stuff like that. Does definitely seem like they need this Druid here. They did not play a land that turn, I believe. I'll just get in there with the Sentinels before I do anything. Might Rabid Bite the Druid away just to keep them off of mana. And then drop a Fenlurker, get rid of another card in their hand. Ooh, Pump Spell? Growth Cycle. Alright. That will kill a Greenwood Sentinel. And no blocks with the Druid. They are absolutely being very protective of that. I'll go ahead and drop a Fenlurker now, get rid of one of their last two cards. Getting rid of a Vorse Claw, it looks like. Yep, getting rid of a Vorse Claw of their own. I am the one who Vorse Claws this game. Alright, sending in the 2-2. Show me the Pump Spell. No Pump Spell. Okay. Alright, we can drop Voracious Hydra and fight that Druid. It's mildly risky. I mean, they have two cards in their hand. They're still just not blocking. I feel like the fact that they're still just not blocking makes me think that they don't have a Pump Spell here. Fight the Druid? They do? They do have the Pump Spell. Oh, no. Okay, no. They were just looking at the forest and wishing that they had the Pump Spell. There is the scoop. Alright, so that was just a very poor set of draws and circumstances for our opponent. They had to mulligan and then cast a Duress for nothing. They Duressed a hand with nothing but creatures, so they basically just lost out on just like 2 cards worth of cards that game very early on, and then got a bit mana screwed at the end, so pretty unfortunate start for our opponent. This is a terrible starting hand. We have all the lands that we need, but we can't play Embodiment of Agonies, or it'll die immediately. And this was definitely my problem with the card. This was why I was so strongly considering something else. I think this draft might have been better if I just went blue, because we went black very early and like stuck to it, so we were like cutting it from bots and still never got a murder. Whereas we got a million Frostlinkses without taking any blue cards. So I feel like if I had taken Frostlinks over the Embodiment of Agonies, I would have just had a pretty sick green-blue deck with a whole bunch of Frostlinkses instead of the random black stuff in here. But it is how it is. You can never really predict the arena bots. And you can never predict how many murders you're going to get in the booster packs and in the first place. Presumably there'd be a lot of murders, but apparently there were a lot of black drafters. Alright, there's our black mana. Bam. We are playing against Boros. They're off to a pretty fast start. Daybreak Chaplain and Pack Mastiff. They've got some early game dorks out. Four mana and 4 cards in hand here. They're going for an all-out swing. I will go ahead and block that Pack Mastiff. See if they use a Pump Spell as a removal spell here. Nope. We will trade Pack Mastiff and my 2/2 Wolf token. So I'm left here with a 0/1 Chump Blocker, which unfortunately will not be able to kill anything even with a Blade Brand. And we've drawn another land, so we have 7 lands. So we can cast anything that we draw. So let's hope to draw some stuff. There's a Vial of Dragonfire on opponent's field. If we get anything else with 2 toughness, that's just going to die immediately. Okay, no blocks. We're going to take 3. They're going to gain 1. Down to 15. Fire Elemental from our opponents. Here's Embodiment of Agonies. If I Blade Brand right now, I don't actually have the 2 black mana to cast Embodiment of Agonies as a 1/1. So I think I just play a Scourger so I can actually block next turn. And then once Scourger dies, I'll be able to cast Embodiment of Agonies. So and now I can chump block with the pup as well, just to fill up so my Agonies is a 2/2 next turn. At the very least. So this kind of sucks because they have the Vial of Dragonfire. So because they have that Vial of Dragonfire, if they don't crack it right now, Embodiment of Agonies dies just immediately. But if I block the Moorland Inquisitor, they can give it first strike and just kill my Scourger before it kills anything. I think I block the Chaplain and hope that they pop the Vial to kill my Scourger and just have that be a trade there. That would be fantastic for me. I really hope they Vial of Dragonfire the Gruesome Scourger here. Because that'll make sure Embodiment of Agonies will actually get to live, so it can trade with Fire Elemental. And then I'm just worried about a 2/2. That's all I gotta deal with. Alright. Of course, I have to deal with whatever they drew as well, which we don't really know yet. So now I get to cast Embodiment of Agonies and a Greenwood Sentinel. Now, unfortunately, that is a 2/2 first strike that I have to deal with. So my flat-out 2/2 does not do anything about that. So opponent does have something instant speed here. Oh, they have Moorland Inquisitor's ability. So we actually don't know what's in their hand. But that would be why they're getting stops during my turn, is because they can use that ability at any time. Even if they don't have an instant in hand. Alright, 2 cards in hand for our opponent. That Moorland Inquisitor is going to be a big problem. Gotta get something with at least 3 toughness. Which presumably we've got a decent amount of. I think Pattern Marcher, my Netcaster Spider. We've got stuff. Alright, taking 2. We'll see what they have in their hand here. Nothing yet. The trades occur. We're facing a 2/2 first striker with a 2/2 vigilance, which is not the best spot to be in. Unless we had more life than them, then it would be a fine spot, but do not. Alright, so at this point, I'm just going to Blade Brand and draw a card. I have got to just draw something that does something at this point. You had a shock and you... Wait. Okay. Well, that's terrible for me. Now I don't even get to draw a card off of Blade Brand. Yeah, I should have Blade Branded the Moorland Inquisitor literally only for that circumstance, but I assumed if they had drawn a shock, they would have just shocked already anyway. Just cleared my field. But they wanted to hold on to it in case I got something better. But I don't have anything, I have lands. That's where my opponent went wrong. Assuming I had cards. Alright. Griffin Sentinel and Moorland Inquisitor are going to hit me for 3 a turn, so I have 2 more turns to draw something. Boar's Claw is something. Do you have another removal spell? Act of Treason would be absolutely hilarious here. I'm going to hold on to this force just in case they think I have something. It's highly unlikely, but I could maybe spook them. So they have to have like a pacifism. Oh my god, no! Why do you have Act of Treason? The exact time you need it. Oh no. The best Act of Treason. Alright, well that was a big old poopy horse poop. I'll just get manhandled by basic Boros deck. Very traditional Boros stuff, just whatever decent random creatures you can get. Fire Elementals and Moorland Inquisitors. Along with your removal. Alright. Well, this hand is not a great start. A lot of 3-mana cards with 2 lands. Opponent does go first, so we get to draw 2 cards. We have to draw a land in the next 2 cards, or we're going to be playing real slow. Well, let's go risky. I'm going to go risky with this one, because why not? Let's see if we get a single land here. Rabid Bite is our first draw, so we do still need to draw land. We actually only have to draw land in the first 3 cards, actually, since we were on the draw. And we did. We pick up a Swamp here, so now we get to cast the vast majority of the cards in our hand. The only card we cannot cast is Overcome. Double Moorland Inquisitor from our opponents, so looks to be a very similar start. Kind of want a Netcaster Spider right now that forces them to have something immediately, or they have to stop attacking for a bit. As much as it would be nice to drop Diamond Knight before I play all these green cards, I think it's probably better to just drop the Spider. Because then if they don't have anything, they can't attack with the Inquisitors anymore, and I have a very good card to try to bite something with. Not a very good, just a fine card to try to bite something with. Alright, so the start has worked out well. The Spider can block absolutely everything they have. Not all at once, obviously, but it can block any of them. I guess I'll drop the Ferocious Pup now. We're just going to let Diamond Knight lose out on all of its value because I'm scared and want a lot of blockers. We don't need a Diamond Knight. We could just pretend we discarded him. Air Elemental. That's pretty bad. Do have a Blade Brand. But Netcaster Spider does get +2 power when it blocks. So I think now we have to focus on getting something else out here that can block these Moorland Inquisitors. Because now we just have to trade Netcaster Spider for Elemental. So I guess we have to Diamond Knight. Should have played him earlier then. Diamond Knight on green. That way next turn if I draw a forest, I can go Greenwood Sentinel, Rabid Bite, and then he's immediately a 3/3 and we are good. Yeah, let's take 6. Pump spell? Inspired Charge, oh Jesus. I didn't even know that was still in the set. I've not looked over the cards. Alright, well, Inspired Charge is here. I guess it's Embodiment of Agonies now. We're basically just dead. Being stuck on 3 still is pretty rough. I guess we didn't... It turns out we didn't need just one land. Just one land is kind of stifling us from playing a lot of cards here. Yeah. I play Embodiment of Agonies. I get to block Air Elemental. And then I chump block the Inquisitors and take 2, go to 4. Then next turn I really hope to be able to, like, Blade Brand into Rabid Bite, the other flyer or something. I don't know. I don't know. We're in an awful spot. Well, I guess I could have poked him for 1 because this guy's got Vigilance, but I'm not really thinking about the late game right now. I'm thinking about I need to survive. But yeah, in terms of late game, if if I survive this, then yeah, should have poked him for that 1 damage there. But I highly doubt I will survive this. Yeah. That's well beyond lethal. I don't know why that took so long, but we are very dead to that. Alright. Well, we are definitely getting manhandled by the white decks, so let's hope for non-white. I don't know what it is. It's not like we didn't really die to the same cards. Well, we did. We died to Moorland Inquisitor. They were pretty different decks, though. Let's not all blame this on one color of Magic. Let's blame this on ourselves. And that would be the royal ourselves. I'm not blaming it on any of the viewers. This is all on me. I'm not the best at Magic. I will lose a lot. And that's my bad. But I will also just manhandle anyone playing Duress. Just get out of here, Duress. So, I probably should have mulliganed this, because I don't actually get to play anything till like turn 5. Because Embodiment of Agonies doesn't actually just come out on turn 3, but I have a bunch of lands, so there's that. I think my mind was still preoccupied with trying to talk out about the last game and make stupid jokes and stuff. Alright, Thicket Crasher, let's get out there. We're playing against Black-White now. Sanitarium Skeleton. Alright, so they can double block Thicket Crasher now, because they have 3 mana to pump up the Fenlurker, so now we're just not going to attack. Go ahead and drop out our Mammoth Spider. And just keep passing the turn for a while. Mammoth Spider can get in there next turn. If they block with everything, they block for 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, Mammoth Spider can get in there, so we'll go ahead. Could have like a blade brand or something. I guess they just get to spend all their mana on the skeleton. Fair enough. An Audacious Thief. I like Audacious Thief better than Fenlurker, because I feel like if we drop Fenlurker, they just like return Skeleton and exile it, like Skeleton's whatever. I mean, it is a chump blocker every turn, so maybe they do exile something actually relevant. So, obviously going to be a Vorst Claw this turn. Just go in with everybody. They can't make profitable blocks on everything here. I would probably just go Fenlurker Chaplain on Thief and Skeleton on Spider. But we'll see what they have. Chaplain Skeleton on Thief. Okay. Nothing on Spider or Thicket Crasher. Alright, drop down a Vorst Claw. Which does have Trample thanks to the Thicket Crasher. And here's another Duress. That would have been goddamn hilarious if I still had only creatures. So that kind of sucked. They actually got to hit something relevant with that, but it doesn't look like there's any really strong Rabid Bite targets right now anyway, so probably fine. Yep, there's just a scoop. They are just going to scoop to Vorst Claw being a 7/7 Trample. That would have been really funny, though, if I didn't have the Rabid Bite, because then they might have just scooped right after the Duress. So, it seems like every round that we have won has been, in part, due to an opponent having a Duress that does absolutely nothing. So that's a cute thing to think about. Maybe we'll try and just have a mono creature hand at the start of this game again. See what happens. Swamp Duress. Alright, this has non-creatures in it, but it's also a pretty good hand. We don't do anything till turn 3, but we have 2 very strong late-game cards, as well as an early-ish game removal spell. This hand does have a good target for duress, though, so I should have mulliganed. Because that's clearly how we win. Ooh, that was a very good draw. That gives us something to do on turn 2. That's also a 2-2 to block their 1-1. I can't really get in there without pumping it up or doing something fancy. Heart Piercer Bow is something fancy that'll work. They can throw that onto the lizard, so whenever it attacks, it'll do 1 damage to my sentinel. So that's I can't block with it. Also, that stops me from playing Diamond Knight, which is really lame, because if I play Diamond Knight, they just equip and deal a damage to him. I could play Hydra right now and just fight the Spitter, but that also seems awful. Do I actually have to just take a turn off because of the Heart Piercer Bow? But I guess I have Wake Root Elemental as my late game way to try to win this game. So maybe I just play Hydra as a 2-3 even at this point. God, it all feels awful. That all just feels so bad. I'm just gonna end. I think it's probably the kind of thing you have to just let go of the feel bads and accept it. Accept it's not gonna feel the best, but you're supposed to play Hydra there in one form or the other. But, man, I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not that kind of guy. Hydra will be in my life. Bigger Hydra. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take 2 here, I think. They want to trade for the Ember Cat, that's fine. Also fight the Ember Cat now. I think I'm just going to play a 2-4, though. Don't really want to Agonizing Siphon anything yet, either. Maybe I do. I guess both of the cards they've played so far are elementals. So Ember Cat might actually be fueling them up on mana. But I do like that the 2-4 just blocks all their stuff. Definitively. I mean, we really don't need blockers right now. I'll just kill that Ember Cat. Maybe that'll stop them from playing like a Fire Elemental or something. Griffin Sentinel it is. And another Scorch Spitter. Alright. Well, now I definitely want that Bright Wood Tracker down. Blocks. Alright, Loaming Shaman is the draw. Can also play a Voracious Hydra, and that'll deal with both of them, because that'll be a 2-3. Fight a Torch Spitter. I mean, 2-4... I'm pretty sure I just play a 2-4, and they just won't attack with them anyway. Now we just gotta take 1 a turn from the Griffin Sentinel. Till we drop our Hydra out with at least 1 more land. Scampering Scorcher. Then I want to just lose some 1/1s here. I guess they only lose 1/1/1 because they just do damage to Greenwood Sentinel again. So what, I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That is not that bad. Oh, 6. I take 6. Yeah, still not that bad. In 6 total. Yeah, 4 more now that they've dealt the 2. So I go to 13. Or I go to 12. Overcome is very not great right now. Yeah, I mean, we're just waiting on 1 more land for our Hydra. I'll go ahead and shuffle Agonizing Siphon back in. That's a fine draw to pick up at any point. Right, 5 mana for our opponent now, and an Inspiring Captain. Alright. This is not good. Alright, Heart Piercer Bow onto the Griffin Sentinel. I don't like this at all. I actively dislike this. So I take 8, or I lose some dudes. Screw it, man. At this point, if you're just gonna keep pumping your whole field to 1,000,000, they've got 1 card left, and now we're gonna kill that Griffin and have a big blocker. That land came right on time. That 1 card has gotta be something spicy. Or we're about to start taking over. Lavakin Brawler, I don't believe is quite spicy enough. And that's pretty nice. They get to throw the bow onto that, and then now that attacks. It attacks as a 3/4 that does damage to something when it attacks. Which is pretty spicy. I was surprised they didn't attack with the captain there. Oh, I guess because it just does 1 damage to the Hydra, and then I block with the tracker instead. That's true. Alright, we're going to drop Mammoth Spider now. Just getting the blockers set up, and then Brightwood Tracker can let us start drawing cards whenever we hit another land. Because we do need to hit 2 more forests before Wake Root does anything other than being a 5/5. Audacious Thief. I'm definitely not casting Diamond Knight, so I guess we just play the Thief. Just have more creatures out. I don't like being at 7, but like my creatures are just bigger than theirs, so like we're good on blocks until they draw like an Inspire Charge or something scary. We're just not good. I think I do want to play Wake Root Elemental here. And now if we ever draw a forest, I think we have this in the bag. Okay, not a forest, but I mean, pretty good. I don't want to attack yet. Still. Feel like I just trade down. Might just be going for a lethal overcome soon. Now I can Diamond Knight, because I can play Diamond Knight and play a green spell. Then, I think next turn I can just lethal overcome at this point. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 24, 25, 26, plus 2 per dude, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus 16. Oh yeah, there's no way that ain't lethal. Unless they have Holy Day. They just have, like, prevent all damage this turn. That would be insane. I don't think that exists, though, in this specific set. I think the last time Holy Day was around was in 10th edition. Let's see if this wins. That would be hilarious, though, if they had 2 cards that just, like, deal 3 damage to me in their hand. And now, because I attacked with Audacious Thief, I die? Alright, God's willing. God's willing it is. Scry a card to the bottom. Looks like we draw another Diamond Knight. And I think I'm just trampling over for well over lethal here. Alright. Yep. 16 over lethal. Alright. I think we're at Silver Rank 2. So I don't think we're gonna hit gold today. I would have to win all of these. I don't think that'll happen. But we made it to at least average after that double loss in the middle there. We're at least 3-3, even if I lose this game. Even if I just concede the second the game starts, we're 3-3. Exact average. That's a good spot to be. If we want to keep up my average for the format as a whole, I have to win this game, and then I'll just always go 4-3, because that's what I've gone every other time so far. Spoilers for previous videos, but that's something you should expect. If you're watching draft number 3, I will sometimes talk about stuff that happened in the previous drafts. It'll just happen. And they're literally just games of Magic, so it's not major spoilers or anything. Alright, Jungle Hollow. Get out there. This hand is the quickest hand we have had by far. We have 3 2-drops and a 3-drop, as well as all 3 of the lands that we need. Right, I'm actually going to just start off with the Greenwood Sentinel. These 1/1s cannot attack into that Healer of the Glade unless I save the 3 mana to pump them up, so I'll play the guy that could potentially attack. Alright, can't attack into a Leafkin Druid super well, but it's not like they can kill it, so we'll do it anyway. Yeah! See, that's what I'm talking about. You do that, and then they always expect like a Blade Brand or something. Free damage thanks to Vigilance, because that's the kind of attack that I wouldn't make if it tapped itself when it attacked, but I could totally just make it here. Alright, now we could Fenlurker and Rabid Bite if they block something here. They might be saving up a pump spell to ruin our day. Looks like nope. Our creatures are definitely going to get in there. I'm not going to Rabid Bite anything then, so I guess Ferocious Pup. Guess I'd rather play a 2/2 than a 1/1, even if it does exile a card from their hand. The less cards they have in hand, the more powerful it is to exile one of them. Unless they have 0, obviously. But if they only have 2 cards, then they're both probably pretty good. What I'm trying to get at. Let's get in there. Alright, chump blocking the spider, taking 4. Here's a Fenlurker. With the 3 mana to pump it, if it matters. Exiling a forest. Or it might be mana flooded. It might have just been like, well, 1-drop, 2-drop, bunch of lands, let's draw not lands. Vorse Claw, there we go, that explains. That definitely explains it. They had just like a ramp dork into a gigantic 7/7. They were like, might as well. Let's go for it. Alright, let's have them exile another one of their cards and then drop an Audacious Thief. Do not believe we're attacking into Vorse Claw just yet. I can attack into Vorse Claw just to get 6 damage in there. Put him down to 7. That's actually not the worst thing in the world. I attack into Vorse Claw, I lose probably Netcaster Spider and hit him for 7. And then next turn, if I attacked with everything, they block 2 things, take 4. And they're at 3. That's kind of nice, but I do want to play the Thief first. I'll do that next turn. But I could attack with everything and just hit him for 5 instead of 6. Yeah, I'll sacrifice one of my 2 or 3 drops to get in for 5 damage here. So you just basically have to pretend I'm sacrificing Netcaster Spider to deal 5 to my opponent. I'll take that trade at this point. Another Vorse Claw, uh-oh. Well, I mean, at least I've hit them down enough that attacking with Vorse Claw is not something they can really do. I can Pattern Marcher, pick up another Greenwood Sentinel here, and just try to go wide around them. Unfortunately, don't have the mana to play the Pattern Marcher and the Sentinel. That's fine. So yeah, that's the only card that I can pick up is just another Green Sentinel. Alright, if I attack with everybody, they take 2. That seems pretty bad. So we're just trying to go wide here. Eventually we could possibly have enough creatures. Might even just Rabid Bite the 2/2. Cryptic Caves is a fine draw. We can just cycle that and draw a card. So... block, block, block. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... They're getting super close to dead. I'm just going to Rabid Bite that wolf then. Wait, that might have been lethal right now. I might be an idiot. They have 3 blockers. They go block, block, block. Take 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, not lethal yet. But probably still worth the attack there. Now it's definitely just worth the attack. Alright. Block my 3/3 and 2 2/2s. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because I can turn those Fen Lurkers into 2 damage apiece. This is lethal on board. So we'll have to see if they have a shock or something. Alright, so they're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, let's make it 8. See if they have something. Flame Sweep. That would be the worst. 2 damage to all creatures. Alright. Looks like we got around the gigantic Vorst Claws. For 4 wins and 3 losses, and you know what that means. There is absolutely no universe in which I don't immediately lose the next round here. We gotta keep up the 4-3 record. It's tradition at this point. Always 4-3. I mean, I'll take it. At least it's not like I'm always 0-3. Certainly better than that. Definitely not the heights of 7-0 prowess that some can achieve. This is a risky keep, but I think I've already accepted fate at this point. I am fated to lose this game. Can't beat fate. Ooh, this Rabid Bite's gonna be nice. Actually, just Rabid Bite a 1/1. Because that 1/1 has Death Touch and Lifelink, and that's horrible, and I don't ever want to have to deal with that. Blood Burglar. Okay. Not gonna Rabid Bite yet. Just gonna play blockers. We're gonna play a 2-3 to block their 2-2. Could have attacked with the Greenwood Sentinel. Just offer the trade. But I kind of like him. I enjoy his company. And they might murder my only other creature right now. Then I'll be all alone. Audacious Thief. I'm just gonna Rabid Bite that. Yeah, I'm just trading with that Death Toucher and Rabid Biting the Thief. You're gonna play an Audacious Thief, I'm gonna play a Rabid Bite. Just do not draw a card. Alright. Definitely want to draw land. I have 2 very powerful 4-drops. But if I don't, I can just drop down a Thief of my own. Triple Blood Burglar. Opponent is going to gain all of the life. That is 3 2/2 lifelinkers out there. I think I'm much more okay with a Loaming Shaman trading with a 2/2 than an Audacious Thief trading with one of their 2/2s, so I guess I'll play Loaming Shaman first. And I'm just going to shuffle Rabid Bite in. I don't actually want to draw another Greenwood Sentinel. I mean, I probably should have just shuffled Greenwood Sentinel in as well, because then at least I make my deck have less lands. Just more non-land cards, even if the non-land cards might suck a little bit. But if my opponent's just going to play nothing but 2/2s, then I think I really just want to draw stuff like my Vorst Claw. Just drop a 7/7. Hope to end it like that. So I feel like my opponent might have a Pacifism or a Murder in their hand that they've just been holding on to because I'm playing nothing but small creatures. Which would feel pretty bad for them because they have a 2/3, and this annoying little 2/3 is just stopping them from attacking at all. Because they can't attack well. They don't have profitable attacks. So, I mean, it is possible that they just have an iron will and they're holding on to that removal because they're like, no, there will be something bigger. But we'll see. We'll drop down the Brightwood Tracker now. I'm definitely not under any rush to cast Agonizing Siphon on anything, because I have Netcaster Spider to block Sentinel. I have plenty of blocks for everything that's currently on the board. So I definitely don't need to Agonizing Siphon. Mammoth Spider. Next turn I'll probably just play Diamond Knight on black. Alright, well we got through their initial onslaught, and now my field is better than theirs, so unless they can top deck something pretty strong pretty soon, I now, the second I hit another land, can start trying to top deck multiple cards a turn. Thanks to Brightwood Tracker, that could be pretty nice. Should I just sandbag the Yarok's Fenlurker? Yeah, I mean, just having it out as a 1/1 doesn't actually really change this field a lot. So, I think I honestly just wait, and maybe they'll hold on to a card at some point. That'll at least get them to just, like, cast it at instant speed. So I can Agonizing Siphon that Thief just to make sure they don't draw a card. But they'll only draw one card with the Thief. Yeah, I think I'm fine to just pass and use my Brightwood Tracker to draw a card. So, like, worst case scenario here, we're just both drawing a card. They'll draw a card from Thief, I'll draw a card from Tracker. I think I'm fine. Just gotta hope they don't have a really good bomb in their deck. That could start taking things away. Got Ancestral Blade. That's actually a pretty nice draw right now. Doesn't change things a whole lot, but it definitely changes things more than just drawing another Blood Burglar. Like, now they just get to put their stuff wherever they need it. They're just gonna throw it on Audacious Thief and die to a Mammoth Spider. I suppose so. Fair enough. They just wanted to draw the card, they figured they might as well pump it up first. Just in case they draw a pump spell or something. If they don't play that card, then I'll Fenlurker. Oh, there goes Agonizing Siphon. Well, sad. We actually got hit by a duress this game. Very sad. And they know about the Fenlurker, but that's okay. Guess we'll have to just play this as 1/1 now. I mean, we still don't have to, because our field's fine. Just save that, because maybe at some point they'll want to save a card, and just by having Fenlurker in our hand, we make them play everything immediately. Brightwood Tracker for a Crasher. Well, I'm glad I used that instead of playing Fenlurker, because I just sifted through so many lands. Now we get to play a Vorse Claw, we get to give it Trample next turn. Got some big plays. Definitely have more power and toughness on my field. I can start trying to 2 or 3 for 1 them by swinging in with giant dudes. Eventually I will draw my ridiculous Hydra. That should be helpful. Ooh. They draw a Blade Brand, or some sort of -2/-2, like Disfigure or something. Maybe attempting to kill my spiders right now. Let's see what happens. Right. Presumably they can only kill one of them. Yep, Blade Brand it is. Kill off the Mammoth Spider. Angel of Vitality can potentially start swinging in now then. But I did kill both the Griffin Sentinels, so I just trade the Spider for the Angel, and then if they draw any more flyers after this point, I don't have defense. So that kind of sucks, but definitely not the worst thing in the world. Okay. Give all of the stuffs trample. Play a random Fenlurker. Make Diamond Knight bigger. Boom, big old trample boy, let's go. Ooh, just take the 7. Alright. See what they drew here? Apparently something bad. Probably a basic or something like that. They were staring down the Vorst Claw and they just did not want to deal with it. Alright, well, we beat our average. We're 4-3 basically every time. Not this time. Now we're at least 5-3. We got a Temple of Epiphany as our reward. Great reward. Dual lands are pretty sweet to get as rewards. They're basically the perfect cards to just randomly get as rewards because they're going to go into any deck that you have in those colors. Very nice. Alright. Round 8. We're 5 wins, 2 losses. It's only going to take 2 more wins to hit the maximum 7-win Lucky Sevens run. See if we can get there. I was not very confident after last round, but now we're so close. It's just 2 wins away. We just got to win the next 2 games without losing. That's it. It's so close. Alright, we'll see if the client will let us draw our hands. It is possible we are having a beta issue. Starting to get worried here. Alright, there we go. I was going to say, in about 10 seconds from that point, I was going to try to close the client, reopen. But sometimes I've done that, and then I've just lost the game when I came back, so I really didn't want that to be how this run ended. But it looks like this run might be headed towards a bad ending anyway. This is a pretty bad hand. We can't really keep this. We don't have anything to play till turn 3. We don't even have the 3rd land to play it, and then it's really dependent on what we draw. This hand is quite a bit better. We have double Fenlurker. I'm actually just going to get rid of this Diamond Knight. I feel like this was the first time I really tried playing with Diamond Knight, and he's just been pretty bad, at least in this deck. Not a fan of Diamond Knight so far. Seems pretty slow. I think there's probably just very specific kind of decks you have to use them in. Maybe Diamond Knight in a deck that just has like 7 Fairy Miscreants, like just really cheap cards in the certain color that you know you'll be casting a lot. Could be okay. But in this deck, he's not so hot. This deck does not play that many cards, it just plays like 1 card a turn. So Diamond Knight fuels up pretty slowly. Opponent is exiling a mountain to Yarok's Fenlurker. Next turn we get to drop down a Netcaster Spider. It looks like they... Well, we'll have to wait till main phase 2, but for now they're not playing a land. Sky Knight Vanguard it is. 2 mana 1/2 flyer. Whenever it attacks, create a 1/1 soldier, tapped and attacking. Well, we are definitely playing Netcaster Spider then, just to make sure that Vanguard cannot go unblocked for long. They'll have to have a pacifism here, or this Spider is definitely blocking Vanguard if they attack. Alright, that is a pass. Thank you, Netcaster Spider, for saving us from something pretty bad there. Go ahead and drop a Thicket Crasher now, and they don't get some action going here, Thicket Crasher might be the game plan. Just start swinging in there with a 4-3 trample. Definitely looks like Yarok's Fenlurker forcing them to exile that mountain has worked out pretty well for us. They probably do just have a bunch of 2-mana cards in their hand right now, but at least they haven't been able to curve out like super hot on us. Like 2-mana creatures, we have plenty of things that can block them very well here. Alright, so we can Rabid Bites and play a Fenlurker this turn. I don't actually think there's anything I need to Rabid Bite here. I mean, if I attack with Thicket Crasher, it's got 3 toughness. They block with Vanguard and Chaplain and a 1-1. I get to take down Vanguard and a 1-1. Yeah, attacking seems fine. I suppose if I just Rabid Bite before the attack, then... Ooh, might just be trading for 3 1-1s here. If I just Rabid Bited before the attack, then I could presumably make an attack where the only way they could kill it is if they just blocked with all their dudes. But they had the second to raise the alarm anyway. So it looks like we're just going to trade for 3 1-1s here. Trample over for 1. Play a Fenlurker. Exiling a Scampering Scorcher. They are definitely the kind of deck that's going to have Inspired Charge and stuff like that, so we got to watch out. I still don't want to Rabid Bite that flyer. Even if they kill our Netcaster Spider here, we can just pump up a Fenlurker and then Rabid Bite it with that instead next turn, if it comes to that. And if it doesn't come to that, then we can Rabid Bite anything else they play that ends up being a bigger threat than the Vanguard, which is just blocked by a Spider at this point. Okay. Got 6 mana, we can double pump our Fenlurkers. Those attack as 3/3s. I think it's worth an attack here then. Bam. Block with a 1/1. That is all. Alright, just a chump block here. Still not gonna Rabid Bite. Holding out. Or something scary. I mean, Sky Knight Vanguard is potentially scary, it's just not scary when I have Netcaster Spider. But neither is the rest of their field, so, for that matter. 4 cards in hand for our opponent, and still no third land. Probably feels pretty bad. Audacious Thief. That could do some work. But right now they have a lot of creatures, a lot of cards in hand, probably some stuff to pump them up. Expect Audacious Thief won't really be able to get in there. They just trumping again. If they want to kill Fenlurker, they've got a triple block. No triple block. Alright. So they're going to make me do the double pump in order to kill the Scorch guy. And survive. So I cannot play Audacious Thief this turn since I had to double pump. I probably should have killed Chaplain instead of the Scorch guy. What? Why did I do that? Why did I order them that way? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I should have just killed Daybreak Chaplain so I don't have to triple pump again in order to kill that. Diamond Knight is here. Okay. It's definitely not really scary. Overcome is here. I mean, they're at 21. Overcome doesn't do pretty much anything here, so... Send in with a Fenlurker again, as you do. So probably just like no blocks here. Yeah, no blocks. I think I want to spend 5 mana this turn, so I have 7. Which means, yeah, I'm just not going to do anything. Here's Audacious Thief. And Diamond Knight is the only thing out there that can potentially get bigger than our stuff. So I'm just going to kill that. I get to overcome next turn to make sure that Audacious Thief can survive at least 1 attack. That might just get the scoop if they don't have something pretty good this turn. It's definitely not going to be lethal damage or anything, but it's going to be probably like 10 damage to our opponent, as well as us getting to draw a card off Thief. Aerial Assault on the Fenlurker. Fair enough. Overcome's definitely a lot less scary now, then. But it gets an attack in with Thief, so it's still worth it. Yeah, I'm just going to save Spider back here, so they can't start pooping out 1/1s. Just attack for 7. Alright, 7 damage it is. This has been a weird game. Opponent's been pretty mana screwed, but they definitely seem like a fast, low to the ground aggro deck. Like, most of their stuff is just like 2 mana anyway. 2 mana, 1 mana, 3 mana. But definitely the fact that they didn't have enough lands to be able to start casting 2 spells a turn on me has definitely helped out a lot. They have been able to survive a long time. Their low amount of mana. Pattern Marcher. It's definitely nice here. Unfortunately, we only have 2 copies of Fenlurker. We don't have 3. We can't grab a Greenwood Sentinel. Just get 2 more dudes on the board off that 1 card. Pretty spicy. Yeah, if I attack with Greenwood, they just block with the lifelink, just gain 1. Alright, 4 mana now. Scorch Spitter. That is all. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 mana lets us triple pump Fenlurker, so we will play the land. Ba-doop. Boop, boop. Everybody but Netcaster Spider. Our Vigilant guys can hold down the ground. Netcaster Spider can save us in the air. Just poke them for some damage. It's like a chump block on the Fenlurker, since that would be 4 damage without a block. Double block on the Greenwood Sentinel, letting us trade Greenwood Sentinel for Sky Knight Vanguard if they don't have a God's Willing or something here. We'll go ahead and pump Fenlurker once to save it from death. Hit them for 5, they go down to 10. So here they go down to 10 and lose 2 creatures. We're losing 1 creature if they do not have God's Willing or something along those lines. They do have a God's Willing, so we're going to lose 1 creature. They get to scry, set up the next draw. But I do think our board is looking like it's going to get there. It's like a scry to the bottom from our opponent. Wait. Passing the turn. 9 lands to 4 lands, though. Definitely pretty rough on the opponent. But at the same time, as I've said a million times, like, look at all these 1 to 3 mana cards. They could even be running a deck potentially with like 15 or 14 lands in it, just running a very low land count. Opponent's deck definitely seems like it has the potential for some pretty blowout, fast hands. But our Fenlurkers definitely helped us out, staving that kind of stuff off. As well as just getting mana screwed in general. But one of our Fenlurkers did take their 3rd land and kept them off 3 lands for a long time. Alright, the same double block again. They're definitely putting Vanguard up front and hoping they don't have anything this time. Get in there with some Fenlurker damage. This will be 7 to them. They're getting pretty close to dead. Should probably just be attacking with the spider at this point. It's highly unlikely that they are in a position where they could crack back if they wanted to. Looks like another God's Willing to eat our 2nd Greenwood Sentinel. Scrying to the top. That's got to be a Wrath of God or something here. I mean, they don't have the mana for a Wrath of God, but it's got to be something sweet. Apostle of Purifying Light. Alright. It is a permanent blocker for Yarok's Fenlurker. We will keep attacking with Fenlurker anyway, though. That'll force that Apostle to block our Fenlurker. That way, at least Pattern Marcher can get in there for damage. And now, attacking with Netcaster Spider now is just completely pointless. Actually, because they just blocked with Daybreak Chaplain. But attacking with Fenlurker is still useful even if they have a protection from Black Creature out, because it gets them to block Fenlurker with the protection from Black Creature. That way Pattern Marcher cannot get killed by them blocking with Apostle and Daybreak Chaplain or something like that. Chump blocking Pattern Marcher with Sky Knight Vanguard. We'll go ahead and pump Fenlurker to make sure it survives. Unless they have a shock in hand or something, then Fenlurker's just going to die, because I can only pump it up to 4. Looks like nothing in hand to kill Fenlurker at the very least. So yeah, not attacking with Netcaster Spider there was actually better than if I had attacked with Netcaster Spider, because then they'd just be at 6. It would be the exact same thing, except they'd be at 6 now, and I'd have a tapped Netcaster Spider. But I think earlier there were definitely arguments for attacking with Spider. Alright, so pacifism on Pattern Marcher means we gotta draw something, and Gruesome Scourger is something. I mean, if I draw one more creature, this just kills him immediately. So do I want to just wait on this? So if I cast it now, they go to 1. Then I can't kill them, because I just attack with Fenlurker and Spider, they just block. I guess I just wait, because this can just kill them if I draw one more creature, any creature in the whole deck. And this card is lethal, so I think I actually just wait. Start exiling cards from graves. That is fine. Yeah, and we don't have to worry about any kind of hand disruption, because they're red-white. They're not going to have Mind Rod or anything to get rid of the Scourger from our hand. I think what we're worried about the most is them drawing some kind of aura or pump spell to throw on that Chaplain. That would be worst case scenario. Alright. And there's Embodiment of Agonies, which is going to come out as 4. which is super dope because we drew it late game. So it's a 4/4 Flying Death Touch. But more importantly, it is literally any creature. So if they don't kill one of our creatures immediately, Gruesome Scourger is just going to kill them right now. They can exile 2 of our cards in our grave and make sure Embodiment of Agonies comes out as a 2/2, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The Apostle's ability actually came into play here, but unfortunately they cannot make our Embodiment a 0/0 to just die immediately. Alright, Gruesome Scourger for lethal. There we go. That took a lot longer than I thought it would. Opponent really fought that one out. We are at Silver Tier 1! Oh my god! Could we actually make it into Gold rank today? Actually, I'm at 6 wins, so no. If I win one more game, I won't quite be at Gold. And I can only play one more game, because win or lose, this is the last round, so that's pretty exciting! Definitely not how I thought today would go. I was definitely just expecting another 4-3. Especially after round 3, when I won 1 round and then immediately lost 2. I did not expect to keep going much longer after that. But 6 wins and 2 losses is a very exciting record. That's probably the most exciting record you can have, because then the next game is the last game. No matter what, win or lose, this is the final round. Will we get a 7-win run, or just a piddly 6-win run? 6 wins is more than enough to be proud of, at least for me. So let's see what we can do here. Healer of the Glade is going to start off the game for our opponents. I do like our opening hand a lot. We've got Greenwood Sentinel into Audacious Thief, as well as a Blade Brand. Blade Brand with Greenwood Sentinel is very nice, because it's going to be attacking every turn anyway, so that's not going to be suspicious on attacks at all. So I expect we'll be able to kill something good with it. And even if we don't kill something good, we can at least kill like a Leafkin Druid. I'm pretty worried though. They have played 2 elementals and they are green-blue, so the second they play like a Risen Reef, we might just lose to that just immediately. I'm going to go ahead and send in our Vigilance damage here. If they block with that Wolf, we'll go ahead and trade and draw a card. If they don't block with the Wolf, well, we got some damage in. Alright, let's go ahead and trade and draw a card here. Boop. Audacious Thief is not really going to be able to get in there, because they can turn their Healer of the Glade into a 2/3, which will be able to just block and kill Audacious Thief. Here's a Cerulean Drake. That is just a 1/1 flyer. Very important to remember that they can counter spells that target them, in case we had anything like that. I don't think we do, though, so I don't think we have to be worried about that. Mammoth Spider should be pretty nice here if they don't have a Bone to Ash or some kind of counterspell. That should be able to just block all of their stuff. Might even want to just play Gruesome Scourger first if they don't tap out. Play Gruesome Scourger first, they might counter him. Ferocious Pup. Well, they're not quite tapped out, but I don't think there's a lot of 2-mana counters in the set. So I think Mammoth Spider's fine. Yep. Mammoth Spider resolves. If I attack with Audacious Thief, I'm just going to trade with that 2/2. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not going to draw anything that'll make sure my Thief survives at this point. Oh no. Wait. Okay, I was so excited. They were thinking about blocking with just Ferocious Pup there. That was interesting. I was excited for that. It looks like that is not what's going to happen here. So at least the opponent doesn't have any massive threats. What? Oh god. Oh shit. Alright, why'd I have to say words, man? That was so immediate. Alright, I mean, it's a 5/5. Not the worst thing in the world. I guess if I play Ferocious Pup, I can trade a 2-2 and my 3-5. I guess I just trade my Mammoth Spider for Howling Giant if I play a Ferocious Pup. The problem, though, is that then everything else gets in there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. Not liking where I'm at a whole lot right now. I suppose I can just chump block Howling Giant once first with the Ferocious Pup. If they decide to just attack with everything here, and then Mammoth Spider can just eat something. And then I can just try to kill Howling Giant next turn. So yeah, attacking with everything actually isn't that terrifying. Alright, so since they didn't attack with everything, I will go ahead and offer the trade right now. They have one card in hand. That would be awful if it was a pump spell. That would be horrible for me. Looks like it was not. They actually... Yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't just equip that. Because if they equipped that, I wouldn't have had any good blocks. I guess they just really wanted to kill my spider. Alright, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can play Crasher and Loaming Shaman together. We'll go ahead and make sure our deck has less lands in it. Bladebrand's good. Well, is it good? Bladebrand actually isn't good right now. We just need something to block that flyer. We'll just shuffle Mammoth Spider in. That's all. Just shuffle Mammoth Spider in. That's where we're at right now. We're fine on the ground, but we're taking 2 a turn in the air. It's a little scary. We do want to draw forests as well, though. So, hence, we will shuffle 1 Mammoth Spider in, and that is it. And Embodiment of Agonies is a sick draw. Now we've got a 3-3 in the air. They do not have anything that can attack us very well. Unless they draw something. So let's see. The Scourger's going to be getting in for some big damage whenever that gets cast. So now, even if they have a pump spell for the Drake, Embodiment of Agonies is going to be more than large enough. Ooh. That is a bit of a problem. Won't be a problem after I have a 5-5 out, but for now that is a bit of a problem. I'll go ahead and trade a 3-2. That would just trade with one of the 2-2s anyway. So yeah, we need to get something out there with more than 3 toughness, because now they get to start making all of their 2-2s 3-3s. And I don't have profitable blocks for that. Diamond Knight is kind of scary. It's not the scariest thing in the world, because they don't have any cards in hand, like, right now. But it has some devastating potential. If that thing can get up above 3, that will be awful. Zephyr Charge. And we're dead. And we're dead. Well, then. Now they can just give their entire field flying every turn. Yeah, we're honestly just dead now. I'll go ahead and take 3. 7 mana. They probably draw basic next turn. That's 8 mana. They can turn 4 things flying. We're at 8 life. They've got 4 blue, so they can turn 4 things flying. If they draw another island, they can turn 5 things flying because of the Leafkin Druid. Voracious Hydra's very nice. Okay. Alright, we're not actually dead. They don't have that much stuff that actually has power now. 1, 2, 3. They've got 3 things. So they give these 3 things flying. They have a 3-3, a 1-2, and a 1-1. 3, 4. That's 5 damage. I just blocked the 3-3 with the embodiment. I just take 2. Alright. I was so terrified, but I think we're actually fine right now. Because I'm going to fight... probably that wolf right now. They have 2 power on their field. Total. They can give their stuff flying anyway, so we just attack with everything except our flyer. try to put that pressure on. They're down to 12. Right. God, this is close. We have to hope they don't draw anything else good, because Zephyr Charge is a pretty gas draw for them. They need to throw that Wolf Rider saddle onto the Wolf and give it flying with Zephyr Charge. Alright, interesting. I mean, at this point, they do have to think about what happens when it goes back to my turn. So. Alright. Something to just pump their whole field here? Or is this the scoop? Might be the scoop. Let's see. They might just be like, oh yeah, it's super lethal next turn, we're just gonna give up. Let's see what they have. See what confirms this here. Might of the Masses, no! Oh my god, okay, alright, okay, they didn't have enough creatures. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was so horrifying. That was a terrifying last game to end it on, but we did win. Barely, by the skin of our teeth. Wow. That Zephyr Charge was horrifying, and then the Might of the Masses. I didn't count the creatures, I just saw Might of the Masses, and I was like, oh my god, that's so much damage. Survived with 2 life. Well, that was one hell of a draft run. Thank you all so much for watching. Let's go ahead and see what we've got in our prize boosters. We did get an Ironroot Warlord style. Oh, I guess that's probably from leveling up? Or is that you just get that for 7-0ing ranked, I guess? I don't know. Let's see what's in our packs. Crazy draft. Alright. Uncommon wildcard, that is fantastic. And Cavalier of Thorns, a great card. Obviously, why do I always say that? It's definitely an awesome card if you love ramp, which I love ramp. I love ramp and lands and stuff. This dude's sick in those kind of decks. He's a 5-mana 5/6 with reach. He just blocks all the things in the world with that big booty. Gets you a land from the top 5 when you play him, and returns any card from your grave when he dies if you exile him. Super sick card. And for our other pack, no wild cards here, unfortunately, unless the rare is a wild card. No, it is a Temsis All-Seeing. Fine card, interesting for Brawl. Might try him out when Brawl gets added, but not the greatest for just a regular game of Constructed. It's a 6-mana 4/5 flyer. We've definitely got stronger flyers in Standard right now. I think probably my favorite 6-mana flyer right now would be Nightmare Sphinx. That's 6 mana for a 4/3 flyer, but it has flash, so you can play it at any time. And when you play it, you bounce one of your opponent's cards. And when you play it, you surveil 4. So I feel like that card's just probably a lot better than a Temsis in the long run. But a Temsis has a cool alternate win condition. So thank you all so much for watching. That was a fun draft. I enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. And I'll be back again very soon with some more Magic Arena content. I shouldn't say very soon, but probably soon. Probably within the next few days with another ranked draft. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. We're going to leave the very off, because I don't want to make any super huge promises, but it will be soon. See you then.